In a move that is surprising to no one, it is now being reported by Politico that Biden's White House is preparing, or I should say, having the preliminary discussions about blanket pardons for the likes of Dr. Fauci, Liz Cheney, Adam Schiff. And the excuse they're giving is that Donald Trump wants revenge. Never mind the fact that 3 years ago, and we know this is true, Dr. Fauci lied under oath. Hey, I can say that definitively as a statement of fact. Come at me, bro. Dr. Fauci lied under oath and committed a crime, and he should be criminally charged for that. Now they're going to pardon him. So I wonder how sweeping these blanket pardons are going to be. And I wonder if it'll be deemed constitutional, but that will be very, very interesting. So we're going to talk about that. Plus, look, along with Dr. Fauci, we do have that report from Congress about the origins of COVID, which will be going along with it. We got some big news in the digital space. Twitch. The adpocalypse is getting worse as JP Morgan and AT&T are pulling all of their ads because of anti-Semitic streamers. Oof. We'll talk about that stuff. And then, of course, United Health CEO, the biggest health insurance company in the United States, the CEO is assassinated this morning in Midtown Manhattan, and the video has gone viral. We can't play the video. It's graphic, but this looks like a professional hit. And once you start looking at what the gun people are saying about how the assassin was like manually chambering rounds, they're like, that guy knew what he was doing. That's crazy. So we'll talk about all that stuff. But before we get started, my friends, head over to castbrew.com. Due to a programming error on the website, we've accidentally extended our Black Friday sale to Wednesday, tonight, by midnight. So if you're watching live right now, get your discount Cast Brew while you still can. And I'm going to be honest, this is not an ad play. Like literally they put the date in wrong when they were programming the discount and then messaged me on Monday being like, we accidentally made the discount Wednesday instead of Monday. And I was like, okay, cool. Well, I'll promote it. So if you buy 2 bags of Cast Brew, you get 15% off. You buy 3 bags, you'll get 20% off. And if you buy 4 or more bags of Cast Brew coffee, you are going to get 30% off. So you can stock up for the whole month or two. You want to keep it fresh, but hey, stock up. Everybody loves Appalachian Nights, but don't forget, we got Stand Your Grounds, which is also a very popular blend. And of course, Rise with Roberto Jr., rest in peace. But don't forget, my friends, Step on Sneck and Find Out Skateboards are also available at boonieshq.com. Massive demand for these things. We keep selling out like crazy. So I know many of you were unable to buy them because we legit sell them out like super quick. Right now we have, I think, we only have a couple boards left. Holy crap, I didn't realize we had very few left. Looks like the only size available now is 8.25, and it's about to sell out. So if you want to pick one up, boonieshq.com. Of course, the boobies, that board that also everybody loves for some reason because it's hilarious. It's a blue-footed booby bird, and it's called the booby. These sell really quick, too, so pick them up. And don't forget to also head over to timcast.com and click Join Us to become a member. Because as a member, you support and sustain this show. We did an awesome uncensored show with Cenk Uygur last night. And we largely talked about religion and his worldview, and it was particularly interesting. So I recommend you guys check that out. As a member, you can watch our uncensored shows and submit questions, call in during our uncensored members-only show. So you'll get access to our Discord server where you can hang out with tens of thousands of like-minded individuals. Definitely check that out. But don't forget to smash that like button, share the show with everyone you know. Joining us tonight to talk about these things and so much more is Decoy Voice.
What's going on? I'm Decoy Voice. I run a small channel on YouTube where I cover crime, culture, and politics with concise, light-order commentary on the tragic status that is today's reality, and I'm very excited to be here, so I'm glad you guys got me on.
I'm always really excited when we have YouTubers on because they know the rules. And I'm like, this is what YouTube bans you for, and this is what they don't. And they're like, oh, no, we know. I'm like, okay, great. Because Ian's here, and I'm always worried.
Yeah, he's on edge. You can tell. So, hey, guys, good to see you again. I'm Ian Crossland. I'm back. I cast magic for a living. And I want to give a special shout-out to Grofty. Dude, you should see Phil's face right now. I saw him do a take when I said that. I want to shout out Grofty is in the chat. Everyone loves Grofty. So if you don't know him, you know him now. Send Grofty some love. What's up, dude? Good to see you, man. Phil Labonte.
Hello, everybody. My name is Phil Labonte. I'm the lead singer of the heavy metal band All That Remains. I'm an anti-communist and a counter-revolutionary, and I don't know Grofty. Let's go.
Here's the story from Politico, and I love it. They use this little picture of Joe Biden giving what looks like a wink. Wink. It says Biden White House is discussing preemptive pardons for those in Trump's crosshairs. The nomination of Kash Patel, who has vowed to pursue Trump's critics as FBI director, has heightened concerns within the president's inner circle. They say Biden's aides are deeply concerned about a range of current and former officials who could find themselves facing inquiries and even indictments. A sense of alarm which has only accelerated since Trump's last weekend announced the appointment of Kash Patel, based, to lead the FBI. Patel has publicly vowed to pursue Trump's critics. Yes, but not because they're his critics. He's going to pursue them for being criminals. And it just so happens that criminals don't want to be held accountable, so they criticize the person who wants to hold them accountable. You see how that works, Politico? They go on to add that White House officials are carefully weighing the extraordinary step of handing out blanket pardons to those who've committed no crimes. I love this, okay? I just want to stress this. Who've committed no crimes, they say. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like now to give you an example of why you watch this show and why we hate the corporate press and the fake news, the corporate media. They go on to say, those who could face exposure included such members of Congress, January 6th committee, as Senator-elect Adam Schiff. They sat GOP Rep Liz Cheney of Wyoming, former rep. Trump had previously said Cheney should go to jail along with the rest of the unselect committee. Also mentioned by Biden's aides for a pardon is Anthony Fauci, the former head of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, who became a lightning rod for criticism from the right during the COVID pandemic. Now, let me just stress this. As it says, who've committed no crimes. I want to say it again. Politico says, who've committed no crimes. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Newsweek.com. On their X account from September 9th, 2021, newly released grant proposals indicate the National Institutes of Health funded controversial gain-of-function research appearing to contradict what Dr. Anthony Fauci had said previously. Then we have the actual article. And the headline is, Fauci was untruthful to Congress about Wuhan lab research, new documents appear to show. Let me make sure it's really easy for y'all to understand. And I'm not talking about the audience, the core audience, because I love and respect you guys. I'm talking about the corporate press, the Democrats, and the people who seem to just believe all of those lies. I'll make it simple for you guys. From gosar.house.gov. Dr. Fauci testified under oath before the United States Senate that the National Institute of Health had not funded gain-of-function research in the Wuhan Institute of Virology, yet a report by Project Veritas proves that Dr. Fauci did in fact fund research in Wuhan, China, and several sites across the United States. Quote, Dr. Anthony Fauci has repeatedly lied to Congress and the American people throughout the entire COVID-19 pandemic. Let me then just jump back to Newsweek. Fauci was untruthful to Congress about Wuhan lab research. Can I throw it to the panel here? What is it called when you're under oath and you lie?
Perjury.
And is that a criminal offense?
Yes.
So that would mean that Fauci did in fact commit a crime.
If the Newsweek, they say it appears to show this. They haven't. It sounds like the Newsweek article hasn't confirmed.
No. Newsweek.
There's
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Video of it.
No, Ian, read the headline.
That Fauci was untruthful to Congress about Wuhan lab research, new documents appear to show.
And now I'll give him. I'll give them that. Let's prove it in a court of law. Fine. And that's where they're going. But I will state definitively, as it is stated by a member of Congress as a statement of fact, Fauci lied under oath.
There's also a congressional register. Like everything that's said when they're in hearings, it's all written down and it goes into the congressional register. So he did actually say these things. There's no question about it. He has to be found. Obviously, he has to be brought before a judge and jury to be officially guilty. But there's no question about whether or not he said false statements. Yeah. Those things are. He actually did it. They're in the congressional register.
It was so egregious that Seamus and I actually ad-libbed this comedy bit that he has on his Freedom Tunes channel, where we were talking about, it's this viral video where Rand Paul is saying, Dr. Fauci, did you fund gain-of-function research? And he's like, we did not fund gain-of-function research. And then Rand Paul's like, I have here a document from the NIH with your name on it saying gain-of-function research. He's like, nope. It was a viral moment everybody saw happen, and nothing came of it.
It basically was like they asked him, "Did you do gain of function?" And he said, "No, we did. We did all the things. We function gained it." Like, Ian, are you sitting on a chair? No, I'm sitting on wood and plastic with wheels and leather.
Exactly.
Which is when saying no is the lie. Basically, he could have said, if he didn't say no, if he just said, we did this, and he rephrased it and refused to answer. But if he actually said to
it's
him, no, we didn't.
It's still a lie.
It's the Patrick Star meme where I don't know what the guy's name is. The character is like holding the picture and he's like, so this is you, Dr. Fauci. Yes. And you run NIH. Yes. And you signed this document. I did. And this document says supporting gain of function research. Yes. And it with submission, this got the funding transferred to NIH and Eco Health Alliance for gain-of-function research at the Wuhan lab. Yes. So you funded gain-of-function research? No.
Yeah, one other way that they were trying to weasel out of it was by saying that the NIH didn't fund the research. They funded, and then his point was, no, we funded a company called Eco Health Alliance that funded the gain of function for us. Or they didn't go as far as say for us. We funded a company that funded gain of function. So technically, we didn't fund gain of function. It's like me giving you $5 to give someone, Phil, or obviously they didn't acknowledge that they gave it to him to give to the person.
It's like when I was younger, you'd go to these keggers. And then you'd walk in and you'd be like, where's the beer? Whoa, whoa, whoa. We don't sell beer here. We sell cups. Beer's free. It's like, dude, cops aren't going to fall for that. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Well, this is essentially what Newsweek is doing right now, too, where they know he lied about it. They know that it's in, like, the congressional record, but they're saying he may have said this thing, reports show. So they're admitting it without admitting it.
Also, I think he was like a lapdog for the administration, so they want to get him off the hook. The administration's like, we're not gonna let you suffer for what we made you do on the stand.
I'm not so sure that he was made to do anything. Like he was in a position of authority, right? Like there wasn't people higher than Fauci saying, Fauci, do this. He was in a position he's what you call a shot caller. He was saying, we need to do this. We should do this. He was telling other people to do this. He was securing funding. He was not a victim. He was not there, doing some work for other people. He was in charge. Like the buck stops somewhere, and it stops with Dr. Fauci when it comes to the NIH.
He called himself the science for a long period of time.
I am the science.
Yeah.
It's not. He's not a patsy. And the way that you're framing it is like, some other people were doing. No. The buck stops with him. He was the guy. He was the shot caller.
My assumption is the executive branch made him do that stuff. But you think he just basically
that stuff doesn't go to the. Not that the president couldn't know, but things like everything doesn't go to the president, right? That's why you have administrations. That's why you have the director of the NIH. That's why you have the Secretary of Defense, the Secretary of State. Like, there are big things that are decided by the president that says, okay, this is the policy of the administration. This is the policy that we want. And then it's delegated down to the DNI, to your DOD, your people in charge of the DOD, the people at state, the people at HUD. All of these cabinets exist so that way the president doesn't have to be involved in the day-to-day operations of every single administration, all of the different bureaucracies. So when you're dealing with that's why cabinet level administration matters. Like, who is in charge of that's why it matters that Kennedy is going to be, is nominated to be in charge of the Health and Human Services, because he's the shot caller now. He's the guy that's saying, this is what we're going to do. He will discuss with the president, say, this is what the policy is going to be. The president says, this is what we want to do. And then he's going to say, okay, cool, I will go and execute it. And then how it gets executed is largely up to whoever's in charge of the particular bureaucracy.
One of the big challenges too for Trump in his first term was he trusted the experts. They'd go to him and say, look, Trump's sitting there thinking, look, I've got to negotiate this deal pertaining to the Red Sea and this trade route. I don't know what's going on with that health stuff. That's not my area. And the expert says, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, A, B, and C. And he goes, okay, go get it. Anyway, guys, what were you saying? And then Fauci ends up basically in charge of these things because Trump just said, sure. And it wasn't just Fauci, it was Birx as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I can't say it's all like executive branch fault, because remember, Fauci's Trump's guy, and he kind of just let him do whatever he wanted, even though he disagreed with it publicly.
So Trump made a very big mistake of thinking that he could be president. When he ran, they accused him of being a traitor. And he thought, once I win, I'm going to go in and say, okay, guys, look, I'm the president now. And the deep state had other intentions. They said, no, you don't understand how this works. Trump thought he was going to play ball. He was going to bring in some of these cabinet picks for some of the uniparty establishment, but he was not the player they wanted. So they sought to destroy him. This time around, it seems to be quite the opposite. When that Chad Chronister guy, DEA head nomination, and then everyone points out, yeah, he locked up a pastor during COVID lockdowns. Yep. We won't stand for it. Trump stated earlier today that he personally removed him, saying, you're done, get out.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. Very based. Trump has learned. He's gotten no tolerance for the shenanigans.
I think that's a big part of why so many of the people that have been flouted for nomination or brought up for nomination, why there's so much pushback, because these people are a threat to the established order, right? Like RFK at HUD, Health and, or I'm sorry, at not HUD, at Health and Human Services, that's going to make a big difference, right? If you get Tulsi Gabbard as the DNI, that's going to make a big difference in the way that the U.S. looks at intelligence gathering and looks at who is going to be scrutinized by the intelligence services. If you get Kash Patel, if you do get Kash Patel in at the FBI, the way that the FBI behaves is going to be significantly different. And I don't know, I don't have any kind of information, or any inside information, but I imagine that these people, if they do get their job, there will be significant changes in the upper management of these bureaucracies, because there are people in the bureaucracies that are going to work against the desires of the administration. That's what Peter Strzok was doing at the FBI. He and I forget the woman's name that was his cohort or whatever, but he was actively working against the president, actively working against what the president had stated he wanted. So you have to do more than just change the people that are the heads of the agencies. You have to get people that are the heads of these bureaucracies, the cabinet, cabinet level, the people that are Secretary of State or whatever. You have to get people that are willing to go in there and get rid of the people that are going to inhibit the job that the president wants done. The president, as the president, he has the authority to say, this is how we are going to execute the daily business of this country, right? The executive is supposed to execute the laws that are passed by Congress. As the executive, he gets discretion as to say, this is how we're going to do it, and these are the things that we're going to focus on. So he needs to have a cabinet that is aligned with his desires and is also empowered to fire people, or at least remove people that are going to inhibit the administration's stated desires. And that's the reason that the president got elected, is because the American people want that. Right. So your Congress people are supposed to pass laws that reflect the desires of the different jurisdictions. So your congressperson is supposed to be the person that's going to go ahead and pass laws for, that are going to represent or they're going to vote in ways that represent your area or whatever. But the president, by being elected by the whole country, ostensibly, he's supposed to execute the desires of the American people when it comes to the way that the administration operates. And you need to have people in these positions at state, at HUD, at HHS, at DOT, at all these cabinet level bureaucracies. You have to have people that are going to actually do the things that the president wants. So,
let's jump to this story. This is a wild story. Gunman at large after United Healthcare CEO fatally shot in brazen targeted attack, police say. The first thing I want to say on this is it's tragic, man. I don't know anything about this guy. Any story of death, I don't care who it is. These things are awful. War is bad. Even when bad guys die, I'm unhappy. Okay, but look, we here in this country, there are people who like to joke online about righteous retribution and the death penalty and all that stuff. And I think, okay, fine, I understand your anger when it comes to war, terror, conflict, crisis, evil people, but we should always look at death as a bad thing. And the reason I say that is, we're going to get into the story and everything, but the first thing I want to point out is that you've got liberals and leftists all across Blue Sky and on X cheering for and advocating for more of this, under the idea that the CEO himself is responsible for the death of people. And what really pisses me off is they're communists. Their worldview is, if I get sick and you don't help me, it's your fault. And I'm like, dude, if you get sick, I understand, like, if you pay for something and don't get it, you're being ripped off. But you getting sick is not the fault of some business guy. There's institutions at play. So let me read the story for you, and they're going to break down what's hot here is, you've got Taylor Lorenz. I mean, she's plumb lost her mind, advocating for more murder on Blue Sky. Crazy. CNN says, United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was shot and killed in Midtown Manhattan Wednesday morning in a brazen targeted attack as he walked toward the hotel hosting the company's annual investor conference. Shortly before 7 a.m., a gunman masked in the freezing temperatures was lying in wait before opening fire on Thompson outside the Hilton Midtown, according to NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch. Many people passed the suspect, but he appeared to wait for his intended target. I want to be clear, at this time, every indication that is that this was a premeditated, pre-planned, targeted attack. So the video in question, this is crazy. They have the video. I'm not going to play it, okay, because it actually shows a guy die. We're not going to do that. CNN's got it. You can watch it there. But the gunman's wearing a hood, a mask, a gray backpack, and he walks up with a suppressed pistol. I'm sure people who are watching it can identify what it is. Fires, chambers around, fires, chambers around. And at first, it was interesting because I'm not an expert on guns. The chat can correct me on this one. They said that the news reported the gun jammed, and he kept having to clear it. A bunch of other people I see who were gun people on X were saying that's not the case. It's that he's using subsonic rounds to reduce noise, which don't have the power to pull the hammer back and chamber a round. So he's manually doing it. It's intentional because he's a hitman. So the speculation right now is one of two things. Big CEO. There was some scandal pertaining to a ransomware hack. They lost like $1 billion in this ransomware thing. Some people think it's related to that, and a hitman got called, and he made a move on this guy. Others think it may be related to any one of the millions of people who feel wronged by a loved one who was not given their proper medical treatment coverage and may have gotten ill or died or become crippled. So a lot of people are saying, I bet it was a dad whose daughter got sick and they denied coverage and then he got revenge. And I'm like, dude, this is a professional.
Well, the actual, like what you're saying about the way that the guy operated the firearm and stuff, it is likely that it was, if I understand correctly, the police report said that there were 9mm casings and a couple 9mm rounds. So that would lead me to believe that they were undercharged, so they're subsonic. So you would have to rack it because it wouldn't have enough energy to actually work the action. The guy looks like he knows what he's doing. Whether or not he's actually been in, whether he's a professional hitman or just a guy that's familiar with firearms, I can't say. And I wouldn't make the assumption either way. But he definitely knows what he's doing. He's definitely very familiar with firearms. He knew exactly.
A lot of people are saying subsonic rounds don't have the power to cycle that kind of weapon.
That's why.
I have heard people say that the right suppressor could do it, but I don't know.
But the thing is,
at any rate, he had a bike like across the street, so it was all perfectly premeditated, and there's still a manhunt underway. So that's why I think it's important to discuss this story, especially because if you're in New York. However, very clearly, I think it was a hit. I'm seeing a lot of comments where they're like, dude, this guy's in Colombia already.
Well, I mean,
he got on his bike. He changed his clothes from the backpack, hopped in. His buddy was waiting around the corner. He got in a nondescript white sedan. They drove to probably, what's that?
Wait, did they say that he got into his sedan?
No. Okay. I'm saying this is what people are assuming.
Well, they know. They know he got on a city bike, and someone that was just scraping the data constantly was able to track where he went somewhere where there's no cameras. And
I thought it was Central Park.
We actually, I believe we have the tweet in question. So this guy, he's going to be blocked, by the way. He says, I'm fairly confident of where the United Healthcare assassin escaped to. He escaped on an electric city bike, according to police. I happen to continuously scrape city bike data every minute so I can see where the individual bikes go. The only northbound city bike, he says, the only northbound city bike to leave within 10 minutes of the shooting from any dock near the hotel went to Madison Avenue and 82nd Street. And then he mentions the bike number. And you can see that's where the assassination took place. It's right there. And then it rode up north. I don't know. Would he get to a train station or whatever? He goes on to point out more details here. Here's what's wild about it. Okay, so we get it. We get it. The responses from the left are advocating for this man's death. Because this guy said, police, hey, look, I found evidence that may lead you to this murderer. Leftists on X are calling him a snitch, threatening him with violence. Take a look at this. Natalie F. Danilician on X says Blue Sky is allowing threats of violence on its platform from none other than Taylor Lorenz. So a big story broke where Blue Cross Blue Shield will no longer cover anesthesia for the full length of certain surgeries in Connecticut. And she responded by posting the CEO of Blue Cross. Now, you may say, oh, well, maybe she wants to protest. No. She said, and people wonder why we want these executives dead. She actually said that. This is insane. This is what we have been fighting against for a decade. When we say the woke people are nuts, they're violent and they're dangerous, it's people like that. This should not be tolerated.
I think that it's going to be tolerated on Blue Sky.
No, I'm saying like, I agree, but I mean, like politically, we voted to shut this stuff down. We voted for Donald Trump to bring accountability, to say we're not going to tolerate a fringe far left extremist element in these spaces anymore. Now, to a certain degree, you have your free speech, but when you cross over into advocating for, or I should say being careful here, if you are directing or party to like planning to commit harm and advocating for these things, there are varying degrees of repercussions that I believe you should face.
I mean, look, man, I think that the law is a valuable tool that we have in these United States, and I do believe that what Taylor is doing there could be construed as illegal. So I wouldn't have a problem with if the police gave a visit to Miss Taylor Lorenz for advocating harm to someone.
Saying that this is why I wish someone was dead is very different than advocating for someone's. Unfortunately, in this instance,
Putting up her face?
Yeah.
I mean, it's legal.
No, but I didn't. So here's the issue.
Disgusting.
She said she has a third post where she said people have very justified hatred towards these CEOs. I'm not going to read everything she said. She's nuts. She then says that she personally wants them dead and then posts the image. So no, hold on. I'm not saying she'd go to jail for it, but I'm saying there's a degree of repercussion you could face where it's like, I'm okay with banning people from social platforms who are doing things like this. Granted, she's on Blue Sky. Blue Sky will ban you for using the wrong pronouns, but they're going to allow her to do these things. That's nuts to me.
Taylor literally just yesterday banned me because I said she's a national treasure. She's a treasure. She blocked me because I took a post that she said on Blue Sky and I put it up and I was like, she's hilarious or something like that, something innocuous, and she blocked me. But then the crazy woman goes and starts alluding to positive messages about harm to other people. She's a horrible person.
I honestly
horrible
wonder
person.
This is just her trying to be like a shock jock now, where she's kind of skidding out of relevance and knows that she wants to just tread the line of the First Amendment as much as she possibly can, just so we talk about her. She goes to the front of Blue Sky. People know about that.
Don't you think that she believes it, though? Don't you think? Because my sense is that she's actually a leftist, and leftists believe that people that make too much money are evil. Like, there's not a lot of debate about that. If you're dealing with the far left, they believe that you are a bad person for making too much money.
And I don't follow her too much, but isn't she the person that got, she doxed the other girl and then got very, very upset people were coming, has the infamous crying? That's her, right?
She has done similar things to that, yeah.
So then I kind of feel like this would be the perfect thing. I'm not saying she's playing 5D chess necessarily, but what if she's out there just saying, let me say these astronomically insane things that are just terrible to her fellow human, then later on it's like, oh my God, when everybody calls me out, I'm the victim here. And it's just this new cycle that she gets where she becomes relevant again, producing absolutely nothing for the new cycle.
I can't see inside of her heart. I don't know what she intends, but it's my belief, by reading past things that she said and knowing the left, that at the very least she does think that rich people are bad. Like, you are morally wrong if you make too much money. If you accept a position that makes too much money. That's a very common perspective on the far left. It's the whole reason for the communist revolutions all over the world, and those are as bloody as you can get. Right, the reason that communist revolutions happen is they believe that the bourgeoisie have stolen from the proletariat by having all the money that they have. And I don't ascribe to that worldview at all. I believe that the pie grows, and some people get outsized portions of it. But when the whole pie grows, everyone benefits. So the more successful an economy is, the more benefits everyone that lives in that economy will enjoy. People that are on the left tend to believe that the pie is static. It doesn't get bigger. So the larger portions that other people are taking, the less fortunate have to scrape by on. And if that were the case, which again I don't agree with it, if that were the case, then it is actually reasonable to say those people are evil. Yeah. But I think that that's not the case, but I do believe that Taylor believes that she believes that it's okay to look at people that have a lot and say you've gotten that by taking from someone else.
So I'm going to give a shout out to Landman, that new Tyler Sheridan show. You guys got to watch it because it's great. I mean, Yellowstone was awesome, and it sucks Costner left because now the show's basically falling apart. They're just killing everybody. I'm not going to watch it. But Landman's got Billy Bob, and Billy Bob's great. I don't know about his politics or whatever, but the show's good. And there's this viral scene where he's talking to this presumably liberal woman, and they're looking at wind turbines, and he's like, you know how much oil it takes to make this effing thing? He's like, from all the diesel to haul it out here to 12 feet of concrete in the ground and how much oil got to lubricate it, that thing won't offset its carbon footprint. He explains that they set up wind turbines to power the oil pumps. And she's like, they're using green energy to pump oil. And he's like, no, they're using alternative energy because there's no lines out here and they need electricity from somewhere. The reason I bring that up, the average person believes complete and utter BS. And we all know it. That's why we rag on the fake news all the time. So what's disconcerting to me is, I'll tell you, I don't know a lot about this guy. What I see with this guy, though, and the response from the left is they don't know what they're talking about. So they see a CEO and they blame him personally for why they got denied or what happened. For all we know, this guy recently got promoted a few years ago, and he was like, it's my dream to fix these stupid insurance companies that are screwing people over. For all they know, this guy's in that company banging his fist on the table, being like, stop denying these people. And they're like, you don't have the power. I'm going to be CEO. Mark my words. You have no idea. I doubt it. But there's a great scene also, shout out Game of Thrones, which kind of, they went off the rails there, where Daenerys Targaryen takes over a city of slavers, strings up all the oppressors, and then some guy comes in and says, my dad was fighting to end slavery and you killed him. That's what worries me when these people are violent, dangerous lunatics and they target random people. This is why we have courts, because the founding fathers were like, yo, we don't want mob justice because the mob is wrong. So you got to prove it to a jury of of your peers and to the public why someone did something wrong. So I see this. Look, I get it. I talk about how the insurance companies were bringing us off, how I got ripped off, and it was this weird scenario where the bill was super high. You get it. You get it. But the idea that the left would celebrate mob murder is terrifying.
I'm with you, dude. I think I'm very concerned with for-profit medicine and giant corporations taking control of corporatocracy, but this ain't it. I want to believe that this guy did some behind-the-scenes malfeasance and this was a personal hit on this guy, that he messed up somebody's money and now he paid for it, as opposed to some angry father hiring a hitman or going rogue. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter either way, but it's not something.
Where are you headed with it? What do you think? Mad Dad?
No, I think it's a professional thing, just the way they had the city bike waiting for him. The police can't figure him out when, like, isn't there cameras all around New York City? And then you have the what is it? It's a gun-free zone, guys. How come that didn't save him?
Not only that, but the suppressors are illegal in the state of New York as well.
So you're saying that hitman broke the law?
He may have broken the law.
Wow.
It is,
Oh, well, hold on.
Surprise, because New York's, you're supposed to not have guns in New York.
Yeah, I thought what happens is as soon as you drive across the bridge and you get to that barrier of where New York starts, the gun just freezes in midair and it can't. And it's like up against the barrier and you can't get in with it.
Like a Harry Potter spell, gun-free zone. You can't bring it in there. And poof, it's gone.
Very close to magic.
Did you hear the story about how whoever is doing the trading for Pelosi, they had heavily invested in the company that is there to protect them from, like, cybersecurity threats?
No, what's that story? No.
I got to pull it up then.
You say the
Are
guy?
you talking about the ransomware side of this or what?
Yeah, where the company that's going to protect them from the next attack got a huge investment from Pelosi or company.
Oh, wow.
Which, I mean, I don't know what that is inferring at all, but I mean, it's an interesting aspect.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I'm not sure that would speak to this, or would have a context that makes it related to this. But I personally don't want to talk about motive or anything like that until there's more information that comes out. But if the guy, if homeboy split and he's in, Cartagena now, it's not.
It's some South American city, right?
I mean, there might not be much more information that we ever get.
I guess it really comes down to if they catch him.
Exactly.
He's a super pro when he's gone into Colombia or something.
Let's jump to this next story from Sportskeeda. 3 major firms, JP Morgan, AT&T, and Duncan? Wow, reportedly stopped Twitch ads due to allegations of anti-Semitism. But, this is the Twitch apocalypse getting worse. All these leftists that are on Twitch are losing massive sums of money. But for those that missed the previous, I just want to shout this out as well. When you go on Blue Sky or X right now, after the assassination of this healthcare CEO, and you see all these leftists cheering for it, yeah, that's why big brands don't want to advertise. Because nobody wants to put their toothpaste next to a guy advocating for murder. Sorry, it's not going to happen. Here's the story. They say American multinational, JP Morgan Chase & Co., telecommunication giant AT&T, and Dunkin' Donuts parent company Dunkin' Brands have reportedly stopped rolling advertisements on Twitch. This move comes following allegations of anti-Semitism being levied against the Purple platform over the past few months. Further, a fourth firm, Chevron Corp, is also reportedly considering terminating future sponsorships for Twitch's signature TwitchCon convention after a controversial panel involving Twitch content creator Frogan took place at this year's event in San Diego with the petroleum company's name and logo in the background. Oh, why? What did he do?
So Frogan was on a panel, and they were saying that they were listing streamers as either halal for good or sabra for bad. And sabra is I guess it's a company.
Popular hummus.
It's a hummus.
That community.
Yeah, but I guess it's kosher or it's Israeli. That it's a company.
Sabra
Israeli
hummus?
company. I believe so.
It's good. They got the roasted red pepper ones.
Yeah, and but the point was, if you're sabra, you're a bad person. If you're halal, you're a good one.
And that was like a
it was
Jewish
Jewish. Yeah, it was a Jewish reference.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I mean,
Dude, they've been doing this stuff for like a decade, and we've been complaining about how the woke are hypocrites and they're racist and they're sexist and all the things they claim that everybody else is. And now the companies are like, oh.
Well, I mean, not only is it there's Frogan, but there's also currently Destiny's fans are going after Hassan, and they're reporting him for anti-Semitism. So between Destiny, his whatever you want to call his people, just constantly mass reporting Hassan for anti-Semitism, it's finally broken through, or it seems that it's finally broken through to, the advertisers and stuff. And I mean, look, Hassan is anti-Semitic. I'm not going to defend Hassan. I'm not one for mass brigading people and stuff like that, especially when, the people that are doing it is Destiny, who's kind of a piece of garbage as well. So, I mean, the things that he said about MAGA supporters or the Trump supporters and stuff, he's lambasted all conservatives. He's made personal attacks at Tim. So he's garbage too. So I kind of hope they kill injure each other's streams badly. I don't want to say the wrong thing, but
Right, you mean cause political damage to each other?
Exactly. I hope they do a bunch of damage to each other. But it is because of that kind of stuff that anti-Semitism that Hassan engages in regularly. And Frogan's worse than Hassan, which is hilarious. But
they've been doing it for years and no one seemed to care. I really wonder if it has to do with Trump won the popular vote by a landslide, and all of a sudden you're starting to see these companies do more regular conservative type of advertisements. Like who was there's that car company that did a very conservative ad, and then Target even has changed the way they lay out their stores again. So
who has?
Target.
Oh.
Because how Target had all the controversy with what they were pushing during Pride Month, and now all of a sudden they're saying Merry Christmas again, which they dare not do that before Donald Trump got, 80 million?
There was, I guess, a federal court ruled today that Target may have violated federal security laws by failing to disclose the risks.
We do have that story.
Oh, never mind then. We'll wait for it then. Sorry for go ahead.
No, but it just seems like all of a sudden all these companies care about not advertising on Twitch because of the popular vote. It's not because any of these companies necessarily believe in what this is, or they want to shut down a Frogan, or they want to shut down a Hassan. They just don't want to be caught in the wrong side of what's currently trending online right now. They're in it to make money.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that you're right, that the fact that that there was such a strong change in, or a strong signal sent from the American people is probably the best way to say it, because even if people will nitpick as to whether or not it was a landslide for Donald Trump, but what you can't do is say that there wasn't a landslide for the right. I think that it was something like 11 counties in California moved to the right and shifted red. If you look at the shift nationwide, there's a massive shift for policies that are more conservative. A lot of this, I think, is because of the backlash from the a lot of the stuff that went on with defund the police and stuff, and the border situation. I think that people are seeing those things. If they're not seeing them in real life and in their day-to-day lives, they're seeing the results on social media. They're hearing the stories. So I think that it's undeniable that there has been a shift from the left to the right in the U.S. And I think that you're probably right. You're seeing it with advertisers, but you're also like we had Cenk on last night from the Young Turks, and both Cenk and Anna have had a bit of at the very least. I think Anna's made a shift to the right, but I think that at the very least, Cenk is softening on the on opening the doors to discuss things with the right, where for a long time it was outside of acceptable conversation to say, yes, I'll talk to conservatives.
I'll give Cenk some credit because he has made the point for a long time we should accept the victories we can where we agree with the right. He's made that point whether you agree with him or not. He says Trump was an insurrectionist and all these things I totally disagree with. But I've seen him several years ago being like, hey, if the right wants to end foreign wars or whatever, let's take what we can get. And more recently, he got flack because he tweeted at Elon like, they're talking about making it so that generals can't work in the defense contractors for 10 years or whatever. Like, this is a great thing to do. Ban them from doing this. They overspend on purpose to get then once they're done with their term or they leave the executive the military or whatever, they go with these defense contractors, and the left attacked them for agreeing with Elon.
Yeah.
Well, I've watched, what is it, Anna Kasparian? Anna Kasparian I believe her shift right is very genuine because of what happened to her, I believe, when she was walking her dog, and she said that it was like transients attacked her, and then she saw the backlash she got for saying, hey, I'm in danger in Los Angeles County. Why can't I request safety from the police? But Cenk, how do you say his name? Cenk.
With a
I mean,
J.
I saw him on election night kind of going down with the ship, and all of a sudden, I don't follow him enough, so you guys know him better than I do, but when he's reemerged, now he seems to be very open to Trump and very open to the conservative point of view, and it's almost like, does he see the writing on the wall? I'm not going down with CNN, MSNBC, and all the other woke media outlets. I need to become more centrist so I can capture the actual audience that isn't propped up by bots.
My take on Cenk, I'd like to see him, is that he's what you would define as a good faith actor. Whether you agree with him or not, or you like him or you don't, he's always been acted out of what he truly believes. He's like a hothead at times, but like
I would say he's hot-headed, emotional, wrong, and I'd give him the good faith thing. But the reason why I add the hot-headed stuff is because often he's so wrong he can't see straight.
when he's like, ah,
Like he's so emotional about it.
Yeah, and he'll admit it too. He admitted it last night. He's like, sometimes I go, but
He's I got to be honest, with all due respect, this is going to piss off everybody, but he's got an element of left-wing Alex Jones. Right,
I love him.
He does.
Looks like
For
it.
40 years, man.
People were posting a video from the show of him going like this with his arms next to Alex Jones doing the same thing.
We got to
They
get
don't
them in a room
agree.
together.
They don't agree, but they both have those moments of getting heated and
Culture
going,
war.
"Wow."
That's your culture war episode.
Reverse
Cenk and Alex.
Dude, if we got Cenk Uygur and Alex Jones on one show,
They'd do it. They'd both do it.
I think they would
that'd be
actually. Yeah,
fun.
So I can appreciate
it would
it.
be insane.
He definitely, like, when I was talking to him, I was like, complaining about the way that he was framing it and how people were, framing the situation with the Senate and how senators are elected and what their designated role is. He was like really just yelling over me as if me articulating my point was going to be a bad thing, and it was very Alex Jonesy. I can't.
Well, a lot really pushes buttons.
That I thought they were gonna get into it.
Oh, it was fun to watch. I had to go to the bathroom. I was like, I don't want to miss it. I just turned the volume up really loud because I had to walk out of the room. I was like, I miss it.
It was a cacophony of.
And then it cut to you, and you're like smiling and watching.
And then I'm like, okay, guys, now it's just.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that then, because I know a lot of people in Los Angeles that are like that, where if you only watch CNN and what famous celebrities said about news cycle items, you would probably be like him too, because you'd think Trump is after you. He was attacking the Capitol, all that stuff, where if he means well, he just is misled, then he's like, what do you say, a good faith liberal.
Yeah. Based in communication first. Like that seems like his number one tenet is communication. He said something last night that was like, if we don't communicate with people we think we disagree with, we'll never find out about the things we actually agree with each other on.
That's something that we've been saying here, for a long time. The goal of kind of what we're doing here is to get people, is to find the off ramp, right? To prevent the meme from coming to life and the civil war from happening. The point is to try to find a way to prevent our country that we all love from descending into chaos. And so it was really bleak for a while because the left wouldn't talk. And the left essentially just said, well, everyone that supports Trump is a racist bigot. They're all deplorables, blah, blah, blah. And the people that were in positions of authority in the Democrat Party, they were repeating this. You had the media, you had Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden was saying that MAGA Republicans are a threat to the very soul of this country, he said. And when you have that as your starting point, then it makes perfect sense to be like, I'm not going to talk to them. They're clearly the bad guys.
I wonder if Cenk was legitimately trying to stop a civil war by saying, let's listen to them. Why didn't he start doing this when Biden got elected? Cool off the political climate. It's only when, oh my God, the popular vote went to Donald Trump. Now it's time to start listening to the other side.
I would say he started off by saying, Biden can't win. Are you nuts? We have to defeat them, but this is not the way. And they maintained Biden, basically smashed his face into the ground, figuratively, like he ran for president.
He's not
Cenk Uygur ran for president. He came on the culture war he was like, Biden can't win. What are they doing? And we argued. We talked about like Ahmaud Arbery case, and it was heated. So I told him this. He's like, hey, I now know MAGA's not my enemy or my mortal enemy. I'm like, a little thick there, huh? Like, you were basically screaming in the face of the left, we have to defeat Trump. Biden's not the guy. And then when Trump wins, he basically said, okay, what are you going to do? Like Trump, he said Trump legitimately won. He got the popular vote. He said for the longest time that Republicans were winning without the popular vote. And so we're pushing back against it. But this time Trump got it. And I think Cenk realized the Democratic Party is defeated. They wouldn't listen to him. They wouldn't listen to the people screaming Biden couldn't win. They lied out their teeth every step of the way. He tried running for president. He can't. He wasn't born in America. But now he's left with no choice. That only choice is to try and reach an olive branch out to MAGA.
One aspect of what I think, Phil, you mentioned it just a bit ago about how part of the problem from the last 8 years was that there was a communication barrier it was a lot of it was the media telling people don't associate with them. And it was like the deplorable, whatever it was, don't associate with them. And it was probably both sides, but there was a lot of it coming from the mainstream media.
It wasn't
a lot
both
of it.
sides.
A little bit from the underground, but a lot of it from the mainstream media. I'm concerned with these ad boycotts on Twitch, and I'm kind of tying it back into the story because it's sort of like a don't associate with them vibe again. And I know it's different because it's corporations and they're like, we're not going to associate our brand with you, but it does feel like, hey, anti-Semitic guy, bad. Don't associate with Frondo. What the hell is that guy?
Frogan.
Don't associate with Frogan.
It's a girl.
And no, associate with Frogan. Have a conversation with him. If you disagree with him, then talk to him and figure out why.
But I will say this. I can't speak to Frogan. I don't know who that is. But I think it's fair to say be careful of the people whose intentions are not to have real conversations, but to create chaos and harm people.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I'm not saying there should be an arbiter of who the determination is. I'm just saying trolling is fine, but some of these people are chaotic evil. And their intention is, I'll say it like this. There are people that I know, if I invited on this show, would be like, no, trust me. Like, we'll have a conversation. As soon as the camera turns on, they're going to break every rule imaginable on YouTube to try and get the show banned. Like, so some people you just are like, okay, that person's the Joker. We can't have them on.
Yeah, and also to the point that you're making, there's nothing wrong with trying to associate with people and talk to people, and I agree with the spirit of your comment, but advertisers are not people. Like if you're just like, I'm going to put up the sign for my brand, you can't have a conversation with a sign. You can't have a conversation with a commercial. So as much as I do understand what you're saying about we should talk to people that we disagree with, that's perfectly fine. I agree with that. But if you're an advertiser, if all you're doing is saying I'm looking to put my brand up, and then the person that is standing in front of the sign that has your brand is saying horrible things about Jewish people or what have you, I think that it's pretty reasonable for advertisers to say. Ugh. Now, I mean, I do think that it's probably not a bad thing for some brands to say, oh, we're okay with edgier content. I think if the UFC is looking for people to advertise, you could probably have edgier, you can have edgier brands and stuff like that. But when it comes to like, Dunkin' Donuts, I totally get why they're like, no, don't put a Jew hater in front of our sign,
That's pretty much describing like Kick and Rumble compared to Twitch. Like Twitch was supposed to be the clean one that's more in line with what happens on Netflix as opposed to what happens on those alternative streaming sites. But then all of a sudden they turned around and said, hey, wait a minute, this is by far worse than anything we've seen on Rumble or Kick.
Yeah. Let's jump to the story from America First Legal. Victory. U.S. District Court denies Target's attempt to dismiss AFL lawsuit and transfer venue. Shareholder action against undisclosed risks and losses caused by Target's ESG, DEI, and LGBTQ pride campaign to continue. So this is not it's not a victory in that the courts have ruled that Target caused undue risk to the shareholders by running these pride campaigns. They are basically saying, no, you can't dismiss this. We want to hear these arguments. Take a look at this. They say in a groundbreaking decision, the court denied both motions, holding Target's 2021 risk disclosure could be materially misleading because it was not specifically tailored to the risks related to its plan for a new and aggressive 2023 Pride Month campaign. Target failed to account for the specific risk that Target's upcoming Pride Month campaign or previous campaigns championed by Target could cause customer boycotts and a loss of sales. The amended complaint alleges that Target knew the risks of the 2023 Pride Month campaign and failed to publicly disclose such risks. Generic risk disclosures are inadequate to shield defendants from liability for failing to disclose known risks. Long story short, Target ran this massive Pride Month campaign. Everybody knew it was toxic to do because I believe this happened after Bud Light. And yeah, Bud Light was before this because that was April, I think, and then June was Pride Month. And they did not disclose to shareholders, hey, you know that thing that's costing billions of dollars over here? We're going to do it too. So we may see this. We may see a serious victory, they say. Due to boycotts against Target, the company lost $10 billion in market valuation between May 18th and May 23rd. With an overall loss between May 17th and October 6th of that same year of more than $25 billion in market capitalization. In denying Target's motion to transfer, the court noted that many of Target's directors live outside of Minnesota, and most of its corporate employees are required to come into the office once per quarter, implying that many of them work remotely. Furthermore, Target's 2020, 21, 22, and 23 shareholder meetings did not occur in Minnesota. For these and other reasons, Target failed to carry its burden in demonstrating that this court should transfer the securities litigation case to the District of Minnesota. Wow.
So are they trying to say that since they saw how Bud Light tanked their stock with the Dylan Mulvaney fiasco, that Target, since they already set up their, because I worked in retail many years ago, but the idea is,
I don't think they're connected.
Okay, they're not connected.
I think the point is everybody knows that these campaigns are extremely politically divisive.
Okay.
And Target did not disclose, hey, this is actually a political ideology that's risky, and they should have. Now, granted, the court didn't say they did. They're saying you can't dismiss this. Like, we're going to move forward and hear the evidence, and this could result in Target getting serious penalties for running these pride campaigns. But I'll tell you this, where we're at right now with this, it's going to send chills down the spine of every other corporation.
Yeah.
Not only Donald Trump's victory and the Republican sweep, but seeing that they couldn't get this dismissed, companies are going to be like, yeah, we stay away from that stuff.
We'll
go broke.
They have a fiduciary responsibility to inform the shareholders of things that they're going to do that may negatively affect the stock price. And if you're going to do something that's controversial, again, like we were talking about, we were just talking about why you wouldn't advertise with people that say controversial things, whether they be, acceptable to one group or not. But, when it comes to things like LGBTQ stuff, especially stuff that's geared towards children, that's a risky thing to talk about and to have in your store, and to make that, to not disclose that to your shareholders when they're the ones that are, they have a right to know what you're going to be doing and what you're doing. And if you do something that could negatively affect the stock price, you're obligated to let your shareholders know. And if you cost people money, you've cost them money, they may have the right to say, hey, you owe me money. I want my money back. I lost money because you mismanaged the business that I invested in.
I think the important thing to understand, and that I have little respect for, is these people saying, like, we better watch out for cancel culture on the right. And I'm like, look, I am not some surface level classical liberal guy who is like, all free speech must be protected at all times for everybody, no matter what. That's silly. I was naive probably 10 years ago as to regard to these things. And now it's very clear that there is moral worldview, and there are those that would adhere to one and those that would not. So it's not so easy to say, I believe in free speech, because then you end up with woke institutional elements trying to destroy you. So my view is simply, overwhelmingly, I agree with free speech, but I don't defend the free speech rights of people who seek to destroy my rights. That's it. That's where the line is. I will not aid and abet people who are trying to destroy our worldview and our values that pertain to, classical liberal traditions and things like this. What I see with a lot of other people is they're like, we have to defend all of our enemies and let them do these things. And I bring this up in this context because the idea is, we can't cancel these companies and boycott them for doing these things. I mean, I'm like, no, yeah, we absolutely can. Absolutely. These employees, these corporate employees, these are the ones who are running the censorship campaigns. These are the people who are getting your products banned. These are the people who are making sure that your books don't appear on Amazon. So when we say, no, enough of this crackpot ideology that's shutting everybody down, I will not defend you. In fact, I will be happy to see your company fail. And then we can, once we've stabilized and we're all in agreement that these people will not be in control of what we can see, think, hear, or purchase, then we can say, okay, fine, have your section in the back of the store or whatever. And, if people don't want to buy from you, they won't buy from you. But I'm not going to tolerate institutionalized authoritarian ideology. That's my view. So if Target is going to play these games with these ideologies, I say, sucks to be you. I'm not going to defend a single ounce of your speech or anything like that.
Yeah, it kind of seems like they're done because they've shifted back to like Christmas, not holiday season, Christmas stuff again. And you're seeing it with, what is it? Apple just did a very unwoke, just family, not necessarily family friendly, but like family first with not all the DEI woke nonsense interjected in it. So it seems like these, you say you couldn't like attack a company because they're a faceless machine, but it's oftentimes like the CEO and the board, how taken over are they by the woke mob. So it seems like these corporations and companies are starting to turn back to what the regular person wants to see, which is just, I want to know Jaguar is going to be the coolest car. Don't tell me about all the inclusivity.
I'm with Jaguar on that one. They were right.
What were they right about? Did you see their new
Jaguars?
pink car?
Who's Jaguar's target market?
I thought it would be just a regular person that all of a sudden, like, I saw the cool vehicle when I was a kid.
Jags are expensive.
Yeah, but when I become wealthy, then all of a sudden I'll want to get that car. Like, I've kind of.
So
wait, is it?
So for the people, no, it's rich people, right?
Yeah.
So these cars are going to cost $100,000.
Yeah.
What kind of person's got $100,000 to spend on a car?
Capitalist.
City dweller, right?
Oh yeah.
So Jaguar said, who buys Jags? It's upper class individuals who tend to live in cities. And what are their political affiliations? They're liberal, they're woke. I said, okay, that's who we're targeting then. Democrats tend to be higher income individuals with crackpot ideologies, and they realized they're not going to get the cool city slicker guy anymore with the old classic Jag. They need to target the urban dwelling upscale individual. I guarantee they had a marketing meeting where the guy said, here's your current 35-year-old millionaire in New York City who's going to buy a Jag. And it's some hipster guy with black glasses and a beard and a flannel, and he's got a pride flag pin. And they were like, that's it. He works for BuzzFeed. He writes listicles and he makes $1 million. Or not BuzzFeed, but he works, yes. He runs a blog. That's the guy who's going to buy a luxury car. That's cool. And here's the best part. They've abandoned Tesla. Here's our target market. So I think the cars are ugly and nasty and I never buy one. But I think their view is, we know the Democratic Party has become the party of the wealthy. And we know it's higher income people that tend to vote Democrat. And then you look at regular working class people, they're not going to buy Jags. And so they're like, screw it, go woke. That's our target. And they're not a broad market company anyway. Jaguar, these are luxury cars. They're not like Coca-Cola in a grocery store or Bud Light. They're specifically targeting one group of ultra wealthy people. And they probably said, a disproportionate amount of people who live in cities and have money that are woke. So let's roll with it.
Is Jaguar owned by a company kind of like Lexus and Toyota, or are they their own thing?
No, it's owned. I'll pull it up.
Tata Motors, is that who owns it?
Yeah, I think it is.
So I'd be curious if they have a smaller, like more economy line underneath their umbrella, and are they just doing regular stuff at the same time they're having Jaguar?
And that's why they're doing EVs.
Yep.
It's an
Because they're
Indian
like,
company.
These people ditch Tesla, and they want the EV, go green, woke, well-off, uppity liberal.
They
live
own
in
the
cities.
Land Rover, Jaguars and Land Rovers, and they merged them into Jaguar Land Rover Limited.
Yep.
Tata owns it. It's an Indian company.
Oh wait, Jaguar's the one that's doing the Waymos right now, right?
Waymos?
I don't know.
Waymos, that's like the autonomous car in San Francisco. So it's like that makes sense then. They're
Jaguar?
targeting that they're only going to target they're so in their bubble. They can't see beyond Bud Light because they know that they're not trying to sell to like beer drinking, college football
Right.
watching people.
They sat down and they said, look, that's $55,000 a year plumber. He ain't buying a Jag. Who is? And they're like, well, you've got this software developer who lives in New York. They are non-binary, and they've got disposable income. They could buy one. And they're like, okay, what do they want? I don't know, baby blue and salmon pink with a trans
Did you
flag
see
on
the
it?
new pink Jaguar? I just saw the
Yeah, it's
reveal
nasty.
today.
It's awful.
That's
Weird
real.
I like the
car.
front from the straight on,
Yeah.
and then you go on the back and you're like, now it's getting ugly and oblong.
Yeah, I'm kind of drawn to it. It's electric?
Yeah, they're all electric,
Okay.
and they're just so goofy.
The real like thin looking
look,
lights.
Oh, that really
They're
changed
very
my
Art
perspective.
Deco.
Yeah.
Get woke, go broke. I gotta say, get woke, go broke.
All concept cars don't really turn out to be what actually goes on the assembly line out there for the regular people. But it does change my perspective on this because then you're saying how like they targeted their people and us seeing from the outside in, what is it, all the promotional stuff for that Wicked movie. And it's like, it was insufferable for anybody regular, but my girlfriend loved it. I heard it's doing great on the, box office, so they know their target demographic.
The movie, even conservatives like, actually the movie was really
Oh, it's good? Okay.
But the press tour is psychotic. Danny Polishchuk has an epic AI video. You guys got to watch his video on this, where he's interviewing them and they're saying these. It's really good. I can't do the bit justice, but Danny, we've had him on the show. Ryan Long and Danny Polishchuk, they do bits together. But Danny's YouTube channel, check it out. He's sitting down with them and he asks some questions. The last question he asks is like, he's like, 9/11 Tower 7. How did it fall down? And then he uses AI to have I don't know what he does. He like edits it to make them answer these funny questions. But anyway, I digress.
So this Wicked movie's about the Wizard of Oz?
Prequel to Wizard of Oz.
Okay.
Where the Wicked Witch is actually the good guy.
Oh, of course. Is it good? But apparently it's
Apparently
good.
people like it, but it's sad because I don't know the, not Ariana Grande, the other girl. I really liked
Cynthia and what's her
Cynthia
name?
Erivo?
Erivo?
Yeah.
Enrivo?
Erivo.
'Cause
Erivo.
I really liked her in that Stephen King HBO miniseries. If you saw it, The Outsider. It's with the guy from Arrested Development, but she's
guy.
The main actor,
Jason Bateman?
Jason
Yeah.
Bateman, and it's kind of like a slow churn, but it's a good if you're into something spooky. It was really good, and to see her kind of go off the deep end on press tours, it's like I really wish I didn't see that because I thought she was an amazing actress, and then.
Speaking of off the deep end, I guess that Snow White movie is going forward. Did you hear anything about
Cringe.
that? Yeah, Snow White.
Let's jump to this. We have this story, this clip from Drama Alert. Car crash involving a kick streamer. Wow, that's a clip. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Idiocracy is live, and it's now.
Yeah, my bad. So, Kick doesn't... Wow, that's a clip! Clip it! I went live, though. Holy shit, 6 viewers. Okay, another person. Bro, I can't even move my car up. Holy shit. That's why you insure your fucking car, bro. I gotta turn it off, man. It's in the back, but... Damn, that's like the calmest I've ever been in a car accident.
That's a clip.
Damn, man, I've had this car for 2 years. Oh, I was gonna put an exhaust on it, man. Well, RIP, guys. RIP.
So, welcome to Idiocracy. A man live streaming in his car while he's driving. He is stopped. There's an accident behind him, which hits the back of his car and blows out his rear windshield. And in sane normal reality 15, 20 years ago, a person in their car would get hit. they'd look back, they'd check themselves, get up out of the car, grab their phone if they had a cell phone, look around and be like, is everybody okay? Is everybody okay? And then they'd call 911. We got an accident here, guys. Instead, it's like, oh, dude, clip it. Let's go. Viral clip. Yeah.
And it was like, oh, it's a clip. He didn't even sound excited. It's like this deadened, like Prozac. I don't know if it's Prozac. I don't want to call out Prozac by name, but like just
People are
this
fried,
limp.
dude.
If he's a car snob, why is I'm surprised he wasn't upset that his car was hit. Like if he's a car, like if that's his deal is to like do car streaming or whatever, you know?
I think he's a car snob as a means to an end. He just wants to be a social media star, so he's doing it with the car. And then sadly, it looks like the car's tumbling towards him, so the person could have had lots of damage to them. And then he's only seeing it as an opportunity to go viral, which he did. But it's sad that that's how disconnected we are from reality, where it's not a car accident where someone almost got harmed. It's, oh my God, this is my moment. I have 6 live stream viewers right now. Now I'm going to be somebody. This is the most interesting thing that he could produce, is getting rear-ended by a vehicle.
And this is and where we are headed with this. It's not about this one guy. This is just one example of internet psychotic disorder, what do you want to call it, where it's like someone finally hit something where they're going to get looked at. That's it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys, okay? I see the people in the chat say, why are we talking about this? What's this about? What it's about is, when I was a kid, what I looked up to was, can you jump the highest? Can you run the fastest? Can you save the most people? Can you build the best car? Can you be the best? Can you score the most points? Now it's, how many views do you get? Well, how do you get views? I don't know. Something dumb happens to you. So you end up with young women getting suicidally depressed on Instagram because they don't get enough likes. And the only way they can get likes is by filtering their faces and looking weird. And then you got dudes like this being like, yes, this is my moment. I got rear-ended. It used to be, you're growing up and you're like, I just ran and broke the state record in the 100-meter dash. Yeah, and then you'd high-five your friends, and you'd have a video of it. They gave you a trophy. Now they don't give you trophies anymore. Now everybody gets a trophy.
And it also used to be about consistency, where it wasn't about that one-off moment where you get this viral blip. It's like, no, dude, I run 100 meters really fast over and over and over and over, and people take notice, and then they put you on a pedestal and take a picture of you, and that's why you're famous, is because you consistently create greatness. That's some stupid flash in the pan.
That picture was the blip for you. You worked really, really hard for that fleeting moment where they would hand you that one trophy. There's one. There's only one first place, and if you're not first, you're last.
Yeah, because I was going to say, it's like this disgusting culture of people putting cameras on themselves, but we're putting cameras on ourselves right now, and it's not disgusting because, this isn't a flash-in-the-pan moment where we're hoping to get a viral clip. This is a consistent endeavor where it's constantly putting out quality over and over and over and over and builds a huge audience as a result.
You make a good point, Ian. I don't think we go for the viral clips enough on this show. Can I throw
That's it, Tim! I'm fucking done!
Oh, there's a thumbnail. That's what he was thinking. Yeah,
Clip
exactly.
it. See, that's all we got to do. Ian, you son of a bitch!
Oh, oh no!
You know what's funny?
Flip it!
What's funny is there are shows that do that. Where
All reality television.
Oh, I know, but there are podcasters that are like, can we make fake drama? We want to get a viral clip, so we're going to intentionally say or do a thing.
Oh, yeah.
It's not fulfilling as an artist. For me, it's not fulfilling to do that. I tried to do that in the early days of YouTube. I'm like, I just find the videos that got featured and I'd respond to them because I'm like, how do I get famous faster? And I'm like, why am I getting famous? It matters what you got famous for.
They're going to clip you crying.
Fuck yeah, do it, dude.
That'll be whenever anybody wants to talk about you on YouTube, they're going to use that as the thumbnail.
Beautiful.
They'll make a GIF of it. And
I was so loose.
But see, here's a crazy thing. Like, obviously, we could do stupid things like that and make the show have more viral moments with, like, I don't know, someone could throw a Frisbee at Ian and just say he gets hit in the head.
Or beach balls in the office.
But this is the point, right? So you see people like Andrew Tate, and he gets ragged on all the time. And I think they're silly guys. I think they know that they post, like, I don't need to say I know. They literally post these silly cringe things, and the left thinks they're owning them by mocking them. For example, when Andrew Tate got out, he's like, I just bought 10 new Bugattis. And they're scooters. He has these little scooters, and he jumps on one, and he scoots away in a goofy-looking way. And the left is like, why do people look up to him? He's screwing around, dude. Calm down. Now, by all means, criticize the guy for whatever you want to criticize him for, but there's a reason why he's got so many followers that are young men. There's a reason why Jordan Peterson got so popular among young men, because we're sick and tired of a society where it's like, to be great, well, everybody gets a trophy. So accomplishment and merit ain't going to get you any recognition or greatness. Music is done by AI now. They're doing AI videos. The movie industry is dead. What can you do? Get hit in the face with a pie, I guess? Now have you seen those videos where the dudes go to Walmart and then they grab the gallons of milk and just spray themselves with milk? Like, the internet is breaking people's brains.
I think it's consistency is a big part of of winning in life, is being able to replicate what you do.
I just think that they're mistaken. They think if they go viral with this moment, I'm going to go from 6 viewers to 10 viewers to 1,000, not knowing that they only tuned in for this viral moment. He has to recreate it again.
He had 6 viewers.
That's exactly right, though. The idea of getting one thing to go viral is missing the point. The reason why you can become an internet star or whatever is because you continuously produce content that people find compelling. Whatever it may be, it has to be something that you can do over and over and over, and it has to continue to be fresh. Just having one thing that goes big, that's like a one-hit wonder. That was what happened, to artists that had one good song and then nobody cared about anything afterwards.
The sad part is he's going to get this little dose of fame. This clip right here has like 200,000 views compared to his normal 6. It's going to be crazy. So he's either going to always wonder why he let that opportunity slip for him to become the next Jack Doherty or whatever, or he's going to continuously outdo himself, staging things or doing something dangerous to put himself in this situation. Yeah. There's no path out of this that ends happily.
No. I mean, look, you can learn how to. You can spend your time trying to go viral by doing things like this, or you can spend your time trying to do something or hone a skill that people find valuable.
So, excellent super chat from Amtrue. Dylan Mulvaney is a perfect example.
There you go.
This is hitting the nail on the head with the hammer. Why do we bring these things up? What are we talking about? Dylan Mulvaney. 10 million followers. Why? Dylan, we looked back at Dylan Mulvaney's TikTok and went to the early days. Did you see his early posts?
It was just a regular kind of aspiring social media star.
Funny Animals with Dylan Mulvaney on the Savari, and these things weren't working. And then Dylan was like, I'm coming out as gay, and it's like 10,000 views. And whoa, now I'm bi, 20,000 views. I think I might be trans, 100,000 views. And then finally, I'm going to be a girl, 1 million views. And then day 1 of being a girl, 1 million views, day 2. And they were all, it looked at first like it was parody. Like, one of the first things Dylan Mulvaney made was, I'm a woman now and I'm going to cry. And it was like, are you just insulting women? Is like, that was the bit. And then what happens? I believe that Dylan Mulvaney ended up getting all that surgery for the same reason Madonna does, to play to a character, to be a personality, and to generate traffic and attention. I don't think Dylan Mulvaney is actually trans like the average trans person. So I described it as there's different kinds of transgender. And I don't want to get too much into it because we try to be family friendly, but there's the kink version. There's the gender dysphoric version, which is the one that people are typically discussing, although there are a lot of people that do the kink stuff. But then there's Dylan Mulvaney, which is the Madonna version, which is get plastic surgery to be famous, in the pictures or whatever. So Dylan was like, better get surgery to play this role and get traffic. And you can see it in the evolution of Dylan's content. That's what we see with all of these people. It doesn't matter if it's good. It's insanity. Whatever terrifies, shocks, enrages people the most in that moment to get views is all that matters. Being good, smart, funny doesn't matter to these people.
There's this I don't know what you call it, but there's this miscalculation by a lot of people that get famous doing something that they have to keep doing that thing now that they're famous to get more famous. But a lot of times you might springboard into notoriety through doing one thing, like complaining on the internet. But then once you're famous, you don't need to complain anymore. Like, you can now do humanitarian things. You're still well known and you can evolve. And some people get trapped in that cycle of doing what they used to do because they think they have to keep doing that to get bigger.
I think it's when a celebrity gets bigger than the medium that brought them into stardom, where you have somebody like Michael Jordan to Mike Tyson. They get famous from this particular sport, but then once more people know about Mike Tyson than watch boxing, now he can do whatever he wants, be in The Hangover, do cartoons or whatever. Or the same thing with like musicians. Like once a rapper, like you have Outkast and Andre 3000, once he becomes bigger than rap, he can pivot to whatever he wants, movies or do that different type of album, the experimental type of stuff. So if you can get past that, I guess it's called an inflection point, then you can do whatever you want. But the people that are still trying to recreate the same thing in the same medium over and over and not evolving, it's because they don't have the option to. Because if they experiment outside their genre of music or they experiment outside of the movies they've been typecast into, all of a sudden people are like, oh, I don't like this. And it's like, yeah, because you're not popular enough to just make it on just your face. I feel like it'd be the same thing if some random guy off the street wanted to do a YouTube channel and become a YouTuber compared to Will Smith. He can come on the platform and become popular day one. Well, I guess it's a bad example right now. But if you're a celebrity... other famous actor, I don't know.
Kevin Spacey.
Kevin Spacey can do...
That's another one that's probably
What are we doing,
bad.
guys?
wait.
Sydney Sweeney, whatever.
Kevin
She can do
Spacey-
whatever.
Kevin Spacey made a YouTube video after the scandal, and it was massively viral. Every news
Yeah.
station picked it up.
Literally
Every
Kevin
website picked
Spacey.
it up.
And Will Smith could probably pull it off too.
Yeah.
Let's jump to this next story. We got this from Axios. Supreme Court seems likely to uphold ban on gender-affirming care. My friends, today the Supreme Court heard oral arguments as to whether or not Tennessee can ban child sex changes. I think it may go one step further. Depending on how the court wants to rule on this, they may keep it limited and just say, Texas, you're allowed to do this. They can have a nice day. However, if they say the states, Tennessee can't ban this, it has ramifications for all the other states that ban child sex changes. Now, there's a few things that were interesting here. The first thing is that the transgender attorney for the ACLU admitted there is no evidence that child sex changes prevent suicide. That's crazy. Quote, tragically, deaths by suicide in trans people of all ages continue to be above the national average, but there is no evidence that gender affirmative treatments reduce this. Shocking. This is where it gets interesting. This is the story right here. May Mailman tweets, Alito asks whether transgenderism is immutable, meaning you can't change it. ACLU says it's biologically driven, trying to dodge. Alito says, what about gender fluid? ACLU admits that exists. Immutability is the key to being a protected legal class. This argument before the Supreme Court, I don't think it's likely, but has the potential to effectively remove 1964 civil rights protections from people based on gender identity, under the argument that gender fluidity proves that being trans is not immutable. In fact, you can change whenever you feel like it, and thus it is not protected.
I hope that it actually does turn out that way.
Well, the question then is SCOTUS a bunch of cowards?
Well, there are some cowards on SCOTUS, but there are also some absolute idiots. So like Sotomayor and Cade, I forget what her
Ketanji
name
Brown?
is. Yeah, she is an absolute idiot.
She's not a biologist.
She's not a biologist. She definitely isn't. And I mean, and that's part of why I think that, she should be disqualified. Like she should have been disqualified. The fact that she refused to answer what a woman is. I mean, if you're going to refuse to answer based on ideological grounds, I think that should prevent you from sitting on the Supreme Court, particularly when, cases like this are going to be brought before the Supreme Court. We know exactly where she's going to come down. There's no reason for her to even spend any time inquiring with anyone about this stuff. You know exactly where she's going to come down, and it's not because of her opinion on the Constitution, but because of her ideological possession by the left.
I got to say, when it comes to being trans, if someone feels that they're in the wrong body, that would be very rough. And I think people like that, it should be taken seriously if someone's feeling like that, and they should be, handled with whatever kind of care and kindness or whatever you need to do to help someone like that. But if you can truly say, I'm a woman now, and then tomorrow you can be like, I'm a man again, it's not a protected class.
Yeah, it's all it is about how you feel, and you're definitely not. You should not receive protections from the government, which will also require accommodation from the rest of society.
I don't understand why these leftists are trying to bring these Supreme Court cases right now. So when it comes to like defamations,
For the lulz.
perhaps, okay, when it comes to defamation, if Ian says, Tim kicked the dog, and I say, no, I didn't, Ian, I'm going to sue you. Let's say Ian's a big publication. These big publications tend to settle out right away because it's not about whether they're right or wrong. Their lawyers say, listen, you accused the person of doing a thing. You made a statement of fact. They're suing you for defamation. You'll probably win. However, if this goes to court and you lose and you appeal, or if you win and they appeal, and this goes to the Supreme Court, they could overturn Times v. Sullivan, and you will get sued 5,000 times before the end of the month. So they say, okay, pay them out. The lawyer could say, you're going to win the suit. And if they appeal, if it goes to trial, you win, they appeal, Supreme Court could shut down this protection you have in precedent. So they typically just say, we're not going to be involved. We're going to pay you what you want. We're sorry. So for the ACLU right now, knowing it's a 6-3 conservative-leaning court, to say, let's bring this lawsuit forward and try and... Do they think that Alito and Thomas are going to be like, yes, give children sex changes? Yeah, I really don't see that happening. So then you've got Amy Coney Barrett and you've got Kavanaugh. And then I suppose everybody's hoping that Roberts is going to side with them, but he's probably not. But still, I think Gorsuch. And then that's it.
I only hope that this does come out where the Supreme Court, does uphold the ban, because this is about children, right? This is about kids. And I've heard, you hear the meme, when you have transgender children, the people deciding the children are transgender are the same people deciding that their cats are vegan, right? It's not something that the children are actually deciding. And I think it's something like 85% of transgender children desist at puberty, and it just turns out that they were gay or lesbian, which there should be no limitation or whatever on who you want to marry or whatever. But as far as children go, and furthermore, if you are taking a position that transgenderism is something that we should affirm when they're adults, and you want to make sure that transgender people can get surgery and blah blah blah, if you prevent the children from going through natural puberty, you cannot produce neo-vaginas, and you cannot make, because there's not enough material with the genitals because they don't develop properly. So even you can make a pro-trans argument, you can make a neither here nor there trans argument, or you can make an anti-trans argument, but the fact of the matter is they're kids. You should not be doing life-changing surgery or giving children drugs that will sterilize them for life because they cannot make an informed decision.
This is interesting. Axios says, just 4 years ago, the court ruled that firing trans workers because they are trans is a form of illegal sex discrimination. Advocates argued that same logic should apply to healthcare. Neil Gorsuch, a Trump appointee, wrote the majority opinion in that case, joined by Roberts and the court's liberals. Gorsuch did not ask any questions Wednesday, so there's no way to know whether he thinks the two cases are aligned. Even if he is inclined to side with the families challenging Tennessee's law, he would need to bring along at least one other conservative justice to achieve a majority. They say oral arguments are an indication of how the justices are thinking about a case, not a surefire prediction of how they'll ultimately rule. It would be insane if the Supreme Court sides with the ACLU and says that Texas isn't allowed to ban these treatments. The oral arguments from Tennessee were sound. He outright said, we used to have lobotomies and other surgeries that irreparably harmed children. We know that. But it was incumbent upon the states to impose those regulations to stop these practices from happening, as we are doing now. And you even have the story from the Post-Millennial where the attorney for the ACLU admitted there's no evidence child sex changes help prevent suicide.
That's really the sticking point for me, because a lot of the argument of we need to rush these kids through life-changing surgeries, is that they would kill themselves if they didn't get it. And if now they're admitting that that's actually not the case, it's not preventing suicides, then I don't see the reason for rushing it.
Yeah.
It's life-saving medical care. That's how they keep on pushing it. Now it's out of the window. So I don't know what they can do now.
There is no. All the evidence indicates that if you give children these surgeries or these kind of life-changing drugs, there is no change in suicidality afterwards. It's still ridiculously high. Some people don't, but it's still incredibly high compared to the rest of society. These people need help, they need care, but they don't need to have the idea that they are the wrong gender or that they were born in the wrong body affirmed. That's not okay. If you're an adult and you say I want to live as a woman and you were born a man, or you're a man and you want to live as a woman, society can handle that. We can absolutely deal with that, because once it stops being something that's pushed in schools and as a trend and something that is cool and unique, and once the LGBT community, the politicized LGBT community, stops trying to create more trans people and tell children, oh, maybe you're this. Once it returns to normalcy, it will go back down to being an extremely small percentage of the population. I just saw a tweet, and I don't know where it went to, but something like 1 in 33 people now, 1 in 33 people in Gen Z say they're trans or something like that. It used to be 1 in 170. And this is in the past 10 years. I think it was Mario Knopfel that posted it. But the point being, it is a trend. And it is a trend because this is the cool, hip, new thing. And it is not something that we should be allowing children to have life-altering surgery or take life-altering drugs for. You want, if you're a progressive parent and you want to let your kid dress a certain way, let them do it. I don't care. Really, but we shouldn't be supporting this.
We got enough time for just one more quick segment. So we're going to do something on this show we've never done before. We are going to talk about Hawktua. Ian,
I was going to bring her up earlier when we were talking about viral moments making people famous.
So right now, there's this tweet going viral, and I quite honestly don't care about Hawktua and any of that stuff. However, she may go to jail. Yeah. So check this out. The Hawktua girl says, Hawkonomics, the team hasn't sold one token and not one KOL was given one free token. We tried to stop snipers as best we could through high fees in the start of the launch. So apparently, look, I don't know exactly what this is about, but there's the rumor going around right now. She launched a meme token. She is telling people to purchase that token, Hawkonomics, and take a look at the context. The community note, the team and insiders have actually been selling their tokens since launch. A majority have never purchased anything and have only sold the tokens they were given. Haley is lying and will likely have to talk to a judge about this. So right below it, you have this guy, Jackie, says the team in question hasn't sold a single token. Note, none of their team besides the top sniper actually bought any tokens, only sold. And you can see this huge chart because it's public blockchain showing these individuals bought nothing and only sold to the tune of $40,000. On average, it looks like about $40K. So I don't know a lot about this. I don't know if what she's doing is illegal. People are claiming that the Hawktua girl has launched a crypto scam and is publicly lying and defrauding people, and they're making tens of thousands of dollars, and she's going to have to talk to a judge.
So what is it? I'm trying to find what's the symbol for it on CoinMarketCap? Is it Hawkcan?
I think it's like just jail bars.
Just
Hawkonomics.
Hawkonomics, Hawk count.
I honestly feel like if they were going to actually make her talk to a judge, what about all those other people? Like, didn't Jake Paul have a big crypto scandal? Logan Paul.
Yeah, CoffeeZilla.
Well, yeah, but are they scams or are they just? Look, there's fraud and then there's a scammy thing to do. Is it a grift? Is it a fraud, right? So if I was like, we're launching Timcast coin, it's worth nothing. We have tons of it. I'm going to sell it and make money off it. You can too. As long as I'm being honest about what it is, people can buy whatever they want. The issue is, did she say nobody's selling them and they're all selling them?
So she essentially did what they did in Wolf of Wall Street, where they launched an IPO and they already held it and they were selling it off?
I don't know. What do you mean?
IPO.
Like in Wolf of Wall Street, they held all the stock in the beginning. And
That's
they had
normal.
everybody.
That's what an IPO is.
Well, I mean, they had their brokers selling it to everybody they knew, and then once it capped out, they all mass sold off just themselves. They had their what they call
Oh,
their
right.
rat holes.
Nuke the company and then.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't remember that from Wolf of Wall Street. I don't know. I don't know much about it. All I'm saying is it's kind of funny that people are saying she's going to go to jail for a crypto scam. And why would you do this?
Get rich quick scheme. I mean, that's why people do like the whole, crypto stuff now. It's like everyone thinks that, Bitcoin did it, so this weird token we can get people to buy, blah blah blah.
I personally think that she probably got scammed by somebody saying, "Hey, do put your name on this. We'll both get rich." Her not knowing a thing about it.
Yeah,
possibly she programmed it herself. I don't know, but I think
doubt it.
It's, I know.
Or she makes the argument, I don't run that X account.
It's HAW is the token. If you want to go to CoinMarketCap and look at the lifetime value of the token, it popped up to 30 cents.
Yeah, it's Hawk.
Actual
Popped up
30
to 3
cents?
cents.
Right.
No, 3 cents. Pardon me, 3 cents, and then it dropped back down to 0.005 of a cent, and it's just been barreling at 5,000.
Yo, I got to be honest. I mean, if this is true, I
about a
do
year
think
ago.
she's going to go to prison. Take a look at this. So someone pointed out that her Hawk 2 token
When it
soared to
listed.
500 million before crashing. And she's saying, yeah, nobody's selling. So they list it, they all dump out for 40K, and they're basically just stealing money from people.
Yeah.
Would you consider that a securities fraud? I'm not
Yes.
sure.
Fraud, yeah.
Because if you're if it has a utility, like you can use the Hawk2a token on hawk2a.com and get free pictures from all the Hawk2ins, then like there's a utility. But if it just is a token that does nothing and they're selling it, it's a security. And then I don't know what the laws would be with like pumping and selling a security.
But that's illegal. Like,
It should be.
It is. It is. The securities. The SEC will have an issue with that. They'll have a significant issue with it.
Yeah, it's too easy to do. So
Well, yeah. I mean, essentially, if you can make a token and you can get it onto an exchange and you make a boatload of them, you could just change those tokens for Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin's actually valuable. So I mean, you have to have a lot of them if the tokens are worth less than 1 cent, you're gonna need a lot of them. But still,
$6 million.
Yes, as a popular name in crypto, Haley Welch has launched its own token named Hawk. While insiders sniped 97% of supply, a newly created wallet sniped 175 million Hawk for 4,195 SOL, worth $965,000, and sold it for $2.6 million for a profit of 1.66. Wow.
I mean,
Straight to a prison.
once you can get it on,
The rise and fall of Hawk 2a girl. She was standing on a street corner and talked about blowing some dude, and then 6 months later she's in prison.
I was going to bring her up earlier. We were talking about the flash in the pan, people getting famous and what they do next, how they maintain it. And I was going to ask, do you guys like that girl, Hawk2a? Is she doing good with her life?
I thought you did everything that MFer is not real girl should have done. Remember, she was everywhere. Everybody was talking about it, and then she just waited too long to reveal herself and then do a podcast. Went into irrelevancy, but I guess that's still infinitely better than.
I really do. I think she had a great episode on her Talk to a podcast about the inversion of time and parallel realities where time could flow in reverse.
Oh, that's so big.
Quantum state and entanglement was
Hawk2a.
really
It's called
intelligent.
Talk2a.
No, the meme is to make a point about something that's like academic and intelligent then imply that she said it because we know she didn't.
I just saw her like on Whitney Cummings' show, and I saw her being like, I hate men, and saying like just this dumb stuff. I was just a clip, but
I feel bad for her. She's literally some random. Look, as bad as you can, right? She made a lot of money, but if she goes to prison, I guess I doubt she will. She'll get in trouble, depending on if this is true and like what really happened here. It's looking like she just launched some crypto scam. Maybe she says, hey, I don't run that X account. That's not me. It was a business thing. And then if the business did a thing, you go to prison for it. But look, she's some random woman sitting at a street corner. And one of these man on the street dating things is like, what do you want to do for a guy? And she's like, spit on that thing. Goes stupid viral for dumb reasons. Gets picked up by people who are like, I'll profit off of this. And then all of a sudden, that's who she is forever. But congratulations. I guess she was saying something like her dad was pissed when he found out. Like, I'm not surprised. Yeah. But if she ends up in prison, I think it'll be a nice little bow wrapped on top of this stupid saga.
I'm trying to find out if that's her actual account. HALI EY.
That's her account. Yeah, I had it pulled up.
Welch X is launched on token named Hawk. It's not Hawk. It's HAW. I don't know why it says HAWK. If you want to search CoinMarketCap, it's just HAW. HAWK is something else. But
Look at this. Hawk is live
my
4 hours ago.
Oh.
96% of the token supply has been sniped, and it's slowly being sold on the community. Buying this highly speculative coin might result in a loss, and high due diligence is recommended. Yo, look at this. She's been promoting this crypto scam the whole. This is crazy.
Dude, she probably has no idea about anything about securities. And she just got probably someone came to her and was like, we're going to make you fucking rich, dude. And she's like looking, she wants to be an influencer. She doesn't want to work a job. She doesn't want like a job she hates. So she's looking for easy money.
Yeah.
Man, just keep just.
What could be the, like, let's steel man what she's doing. If this is all true, like, what's the, how do you, can you even explain it away?
No. I mean,
It's like, assuming these blockchain things are correct, she's just committing fraud.
yeah, I mean, part of me wants to say that she doesn't know, but I mean,
Oh shit, Bitcoin hit 100K?
No.
did it?
It's all thanks to Hawk Tua.
Dude, ever since Trump got nominated, crypto's
God.
flying.
Yeah, it touched it.
Oh, it touched
Flying.
it.
It touched it.
Like Ripple doubled, ADA, Cardano doubled. Like the crypto is it's doing very well since I don't know why. what it was about Trump getting
People believe that they will have disposable income. Like the attitude that people have towards the economy changes when Donald Trump became the.
I bought more Bitcoin after that happened. I bought a bunch of Doge too. I keep seeing the word Doge on because they're creating this government company called Doge. So it's putting that word in the mind. It's a useless token that does nothing, but it's like
That's too high of a market cap. You can never be worth anything.
it doesn't do it. It's worth 42 cents right now. That stupid token that was like 1/100,000th of a cent 4 years ago.
We're in the meme economy. This is the greatest thing ever.
We're in the age of fiat currency where money is completely meaningless.
Well, no, I mean there is something that goes into the mining of Bitcoin. You know, it takes a certain amount of energy to mine Bitcoin. So there is something that has to be done to get it.
And there's utilities in certain tokens where they can actually instigate smart contracts, and you can like embed data transfers within the tokens themselves. So like just moving a token will cause a program to take.
I don't know that it did hit.
It's 99.968.
According to the thing that I have right now compared to Tether, it's at 99.9 or 100,000 right now.
It's tripled in 10 months.
My God.
It was 32 in February. What does that mean for the next 10 months?
Because so I see it didn't hold at 100,000. It
just
hit
touched
it and
it.
came down.
It's 100 now. 100,031.
Where do you have that?
CoinMarketCap.com.
So it's going up and down.
Yeah, it's going up and down. It's up 4.46% in the last 24 hours.
There's like $100,000 is going to be hard.
Yeah, there it is.
It's going to be hard for it to actually break
100K.
and stay over.
There it is.
You
You
know,
got it live. There you
because
go,
there's
live, everybody. $100,058. Holy!
There's a lot of people that are selling it as soon as it gets to 100,000. They're like, you're going to take profits and stuff.
come down a bit, I think.
I invested a big amount in Bitcoin when it was at $1,000.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Good move, man. Bitcoin.
No, it would have been a good move if I did it at $5.
Sure, I knew a dude that got it when it was like $1.90, and he had to write it down on paper. He was smoking. We were playing poker, and he's like, "I got a bunch of Bitcoin." I'm like, "How? That seems so insecure." He's like, "Yeah." I remember him just sitting back smoking cigars, and now I haven't heard from him in
I had
a decade.
I
Where is he? What's he
had
doing?
about 20. I think I might have had like 30 or 40 Bitcoin when it was at 70 cents. My famous story is that I was hanging out at Hackerspace in Los Angeles. It's in Culver City. It's called Crash Space. I was hanging out with my buddy Jeff, sitting on my computer typing away, and I'm like, "Hey Jeff, you see this Bitcoin thing?" This is 2011. It's like March, and he was like, "Yeah, I heard of it." And I was like, "It's like 70 cents for one of these coins." I was like, "Hey, look, I got like $5,000 in savings right now that I'm not using. What if I just put it in Bitcoin and then just kept it there?" He goes, "Man, it's probably a scam. You're going to give them all your money, and then what do you have? Internet points?" And I was like, "Yeah, good point." But everybody understands. If I did that, as soon as that thing hit $5, I'd have sold it all out and been like, "Oh, I'm rich."
Quintupled your investment.
But when I saw a few cycles of the rise and fall, so I remember when it hit $100, I was like, "This is crazy. Bitcoin can't be $100. That's nuts." And Max Kaiser was like, Tim, you got to listen to me. You're going to be rich. And I was like, okay, Max. And I should have listened to him. But once it got to 1,000, I was like, okay, I don't even care anymore. Every time it spikes in some ridiculous amount, I just don't have any. And so I was like, I'm just going to buy a bunch. And then I bought a bunch.
I think it's a sad reality, but it's also just reality, is that the U.S. dollar spiraling out of control with the inflation indicates that everything is going to go up in value.
Bitcoin, it's solidly over 100,000 now. It's 100,000.
Yep, 100,000 and 140. Woo!
So
there's
man,
that'll turn
So
that that'll turn that $100,000 from resistance into support.
I'm just gonna say this to everybody. Look, I'm not gonna give you any advice. I'm just saying, when I saw Bitcoin at $1,000, I was thinking to myself, like, man, I missed the train. I had Bitcoin when it was at $5, when it was at 70 cents, when it was at $20. And, when it was at $20, I sold. I had 21 Bitcoin. I sold it at $20. And I was like, $400, dude. I was stoked. Talked to Luke. Luke and I were hanging out in Manhattan, and I had like 17 Bitcoin. And I was like, I'm just going to sell this. I just want the cash. And Luke was like, I'll buy it. And I was like, sure, whatever. And he was like, I'll give you cash right now. And I was like, okay. And like, here you go, buddy. It's all yours. I'll take the cash and I'll use it for things that I need. Yeah, at the time, I needed the cash more than I needed the Bitcoin. So, and that was when it was probably worth probably was what, $30-something maybe when I traded it to Luke. And I'm not trying to imply that Luke kept it or whatever. Luke's gonna be like, stop telling people about my Bitcoin. But when it hit 1,000, I was just thinking to myself, like, dude, it keeps spiking, it keeps going up, and it's a deflationary asset. It can only go away. In fact, I had 20-something Bitcoin on that laptop, and it was destroyed when a sprinkler went off. And I was like, I didn't give a crap. The computer was destroyed. It was garbage. I couldn't turn it on. I threw it in the garbage. So there's $2 million in a trash somewhere, probably compressed and destroyed.
El Salvador making it there.
Final point, so when it hit 1,000, I just bought a bunch, and I said, screw it. I'm just gonna buy a bunch, and I did. And oh boy, I bought a bunch, a lot. And I'll put it this way. I'm just saying right now, I look at that $100,000 number, and I'm like, I don't think that number matters. Like when I was looking at it at 1,000, I was kind of like, man, it's crazy to buy a Bitcoin for $1,000. It's going to crash. Then it hit 20K and I was like, woo! Then it hit 60K and I was like, oh, now it's at 100K and I'm like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, it's not the number. It's the percentage of increase is really what you're looking at when you buy that. If you're buying it as an investment, it's the percentage of increase. And that's all that matters. You can buy 100,000th of it and you can buy one of it. It doesn't matter.
Here's the secret. In that $5,000 that I had in 2011, I have never spent it.
The $5,000 that you earned?
I had a savings in 2011 of $5,000, and I was like,
oh, it's just kept going up from there? That's after you started making your money?
No. Right. I never went below 5,000.
That's awesome.
I had it in my savings, had it in my bank, and I was like, this is for if I'm destitute with no options. But if I need to find food, I'm going to find a way to get food, and I'm not going to touch that money. And so I was eating tortillas with tomato slices and mayonnaise. And I would spend like $1.40 on a pack of tortillas, tomato slices, and this cheap Mexican mayonnaise from Supermercado.
Do you think that the Trump administration is going to push to make
a Bitcoin reserve? They've already been... Look, man, there's been discussions about a U.S. Bitcoin reserve. If the U.S. government makes a move and says, we want to invest $500 billion in Bitcoin, Bitcoin to $1 million.
Yep.
It's going to be nuts.
It would be crazy if they didn't do it.
Cool. No, they're gonna. Super chat. Smash the like button. Share the show with everyone you know. Become a member over at timcast.com for that uncensored show coming up. And we'll have you as callers coming in. All right, let's go. What do we got here? Jacob Hawley says, yo, we've been infiltrated. That isn't Tim. He's not wearing the same shirt. And Phil, my God, he's a criminal. He's a criminal in zebra clothes. What did you do? Ian, save us from Cthulhu body stealers.
Okay. You're good to go.
Umni says, Tim, where'd you get that jacket? I must have. It's like a hoodie from Old Navy, I think.
I got one of those.
Yeah. It's like a 19 bucks.
I like that.
I had this funny story that I don't care to get too much into, but like some crazy guy came up. Like, I rarely ever have bad interactions, but some crazy guy came up to me when I was at Cracker Barrel. Me and Allison, he was like screaming at us because people are crazy. And he was yelling at me for eating at Cracker Barrel.
Yeah. What they had done?
Well, he says, I'm rich. I'm not supposed to eat at Cracker Barrel.
What?
Because rich people go eat somewhere else.
Cracker Barrel's all right.
Cracker Barrel's amazing. I was like, what do you mean? It's like, why are you eating here? And I'm like, because it tastes good.
It's not good for you, but it's good.
No, it's great. I had eggs and I had catfish.
Yeah, there you go.
For breakfast, you get grilled catfish and eggs with tomato. I get tomato slices, scrambled eggs, and I get
Is
okay,
it
fish.
fried in corn oil?
It's grilled, so it's probably grilled in some vegetable oil or whatever. But hey, it's fish.
So now you can appropriate classes of food now?
Eric, this is the thing. People are crazy. Okay, wow, Bitcoin's at $101,000.
It's gone up 1% since we started talking about it.
What is going on?
Dude, a jump of $1,000.
Well, yeah, because people are buying in. They're like, oh, okay,
God,
now I'm going to get it,
Well, it was a wall.
Yeah.
So what happened was a bunch of people who bought it. It's a major spike too. So everybody, here's what happens. Somebody buys a Bitcoin at 30K. They then put in a sell order saying, if Bitcoin hits 100,000, sell it instantly. Everybody did that thinking, well, look, I got a Bitcoin, but if it's 100, I'm happy. So tons of people set 100K as this mental wall. It is really human psychology. What's the number where the average person is going to say, I'll cash out 100 grand? Once that wall finally broke, meaning every time someone tried to buy, let's say there's 1,000 people with a Bitcoin and they want to sell it 100,000, you need 1,001 to set the price above that number. Once they officially sold out of all of the Bitcoin at 100,000, the demand is going way up. The crazy thing is, people have noticed the exchanges don't have Bitcoin anymore. The amount of Bitcoin available for purchase has been dropping dramatically. I don't know I think governments are buying in. Bitcoin's now at 101,168. I'm not telling you guys what to do. Who knows? I just think it's going to go way up from here.
Yeah.
And the estimates in the next few months have been around 200K. I am not telling you to buy any of this stuff because that is probably not true. I don't know. But a lot of experts are saying once that wall breaks, what's the next psychological barrier that people are going to say? Someone's going to put 100K into a Bitcoin and then say, well, if it's 200K, I'm cashing out, double my money, right? 100% return. And so the demand is going to be there. People are going to be buying wherever they can. They're going to be spending more. It's going to hit 200K and it's going to pause until it gets over that hurdle again.
Yep.
We'll see.
But there is no actual limit on how much a Bitcoin can be worth, like, because it breaks up into people that aren't familiar with Bitcoin. It breaks up into like, what is it?
8 decimal points.
8 decimal points, and one, it's called a Satoshi, which is the guy that created it. Like,
if one bit, so if you were to break it down to 8 decimal points, the smallest decimal position, we call them sats or Satoshi after Satoshi Nakamoto. If that were equal to 1 penny. If one Satoshi was 1 penny, that means one Bitcoin is $1 million.
yeah,
It's going to be worth more than that. But that's only because of inflation. It's relative to the U.S. dollar. So if we go up to 70 trillion, then Bitcoin's equally worth double all of a sudden.
You're right. But that's only to a certain degree, because right now, like, Bitcoin is worth way more than there's been inflation.
That's true.
So
it's escalating.
yeah.
So if I bought Bitcoin way back when, in 2011 for 70 cents with my $5,000 in savings, I would have $722 million, $722,320,570.
There's a lot of people that are in that position that it just dipped off the map, that are like, they don't want the government, anyone to know.
So here's the crazy thing about Bitcoin. The initial adopters were creepy weirdos who wanted to do nefarious things and have a way of exchanging money that people weren't tracking. So they're kind of weird people. And so I know a handful of these like seedy underbelly hacker dudes who, I won't say too much about them, but let's just say they're not good people. We call them black hat hackers. And they haven't worked in 8 years. These are people who are probably worth $100 million right now. And they're just lounging around being like, my life is over. Not in the bad way. It's literally like, I can do whatever I want whenever I want, because they wanted to buy drugs 10 years ago. Like, let me just stress that. 14 years ago, some dude I know was like, how do I buy drugs on the internet? And now he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe not hundreds, but maybe tens of millions. And it's like, how crazy is that? All right, let's grab some more super chats. Let's go. General Hydra says, hey, this is the first time doing this. Can you bring on Real America channels on your podcast next time? What is that?
I don't know.
Is that a channel?
Real America. Wait, is that Chase Geyser? Real America News? No, he's got something that sounds like that.
All right, Scott Dietrich Jr. says, let the pardons happen and force them to testify under oath without the ability to plead the fifth, so they can tell the world what they did. Hearing the truth is more important than their jail time. The shame can be the punishment. So my understanding is that even if you have a blanket pardon, you can still be charged with perjury. So you're given immunity. You still have to testify. Now you can't plead the fifth because you're immune. You can't self-incriminate. if you don't tell the truth and you do lie, you can still be charged
Yeah, I think
because you'd have to be able to.
it's almost better that Hunter Biden he can't plead the fifth anymore, because I somehow doubt that he is the criminal mastermind behind everything that happened over in Burisma. So have him testify and tell us who was calling the shots.
All right, here's one. Alex A says, "Hey, Tim, the quartering said 4 hours ago on YouTube that you're suing Crystal Ball and will you? I think you should have. What does the rest of the group think? Yes or no?" I am not suing Crystal Ball. I simply told her I said, what you have stated is false and defamatory, and I expect a retraction and apology.
Question now, though. Will you sue Jeremy the Quartering for saying that you're suing Crystal Ball?
Jeremy, how dare you? That is a false statement of fact. I am suing Jeremy. I'm not going to sue anybody. I don't know. Maybe I'll sue Crystal.
Do it for the lulls.
Well, because she stated definitively that I was told to say things on the show, despite the fact that all of the facts of all of the issues surrounding the case, that is absolutely not true.
It'd be better if you
in
had
fact,
her on.
let me just stress this. Merrick Garland himself said the people who had to deal with Tenet were completely unaware of what was going on. How could I then be told to push propaganda, not knowing? So the point is, it's false and defamatory, and it's particularly damaging right now because we're in what's called upfronts. This is when people are selling ads. This is right before the year starts. So I would appreciate that apology, Crystal. I am mad. I'm just saying you said something that was not true. I assume you just got it wrong. All you got to do is say, okay, I didn't realize I was wrong, and that'd be great.
She's a rich leftist. Sue her and then give the money away.
Why would I give it away? That's what a leftist would do.
Because she
Actually, they
shouldn't
probably
have it.
wouldn't, because she shouldn't have it. No, I mean, I don't know. Look, it's I asked for the honorable thing to do, and the question is, does she have honor?
No.
Have we reached out to her to come on ever on one of the shows? She's
I don't
a
know.
pretty good guest
Her
sometimes.
husband's been on a bunch, right? Kyle?
We never had him on.
No,
No, he
good to
agreed
have
to,
on.
but then he went nuts.
Oh, okay.
Kalinsky bleaching his hair. What's going on with you, Kyle?
Nothing good.
All right. Sean says, Tim, if the gunman mounted a suppressor without a booster, the suppressor will make the barrel too heavy to unlock and properly cycle. Someone else pointed out that you can actually modify the weapon so that the gas exits through the front of the gun so it won't cycle the weapon intentionally to reduce volume.
Yep.
And so he's using subsonic rounds, a suppressor, and modified it so that it would reduce volume, implying this dude is a professional. And he probably got on a private jet within 40 minutes, and he's already in the Bahamas or something. We got to keep changing the location he went to because,
The moon. He's on his way there now.
I don't know if that's the case. Christian W says he chambers around every time instead of the gun cycling automatically using a slide lock. Spec ops guys do it when they use subsonic ammo to suppress noise signature to a minimum by canceling the slide noise and gas escape from the ejection port. Interesting. So that's it. That's basically what I saw someone else was saying. Interesting. Steel Toad says 9mm is a subsonic round regardless. Same with 45.
No.
Would have no effect. That is not correct.
No, 9mm is not a subsonic round.
Because,
Absolutely not.
and I know this because of our good friends over at Phoenix Ammunition. He has he intentionally makes lower speed rounds for, I think, like competition shooting.
Yep.
And so he had explained this to us that there's, different speeds. But, all right, let's, what else we got here? All right. Al Rum says, Google search, did Anthony Fauci work for the CIA? Will bring up a ton of MSM reports as well as alternative media reports that he had a role outside of NIH with a gain-of-function research. Interesting. Gary Hardy says, let's hear a bit more from Decoy. He's worth listening to if you give him a chance.
People are
I appreciate that.
Say something.
Thanks for watching.
Oh, all right. Wow, that was insightful.
people are going nuts for you in the chat, man. You got some hardcore fans.
Awesome.
Sergeant SGTC says, Tim, these CEOs have veto power over physicians when it comes to prescriptions, life or death decisions. I could die because the CEO said it was bad for money. Indeed, I don't think that warrants going and taking someone's life. Like, we're angry about people dying. If he's a bad person, then let's use the political system to the best of our abilities and change the system. You're not going to change the system with what this guy did. It's not going to happen. It's going to make the system worse. They're going to entrench. They're going to double down. They're going to say, we need more money and more profits because the job is risky. And they're going to hire private security, and then the cops are going to be on their side because they pay big funds. Then these insurance companies are going to go to media companies, and they're going to say, you're going to put out the message we want because we sponsor you. And they're all going to say, brought to you by healthcare, brought to you by healthcare. The way you do it is preempt all of those things. You've got to get those strategic lawsuits. We've got to get good members of Congress who are willing to challenge these institutions. There you go. All right. Texas Grin says that SOB Peter Hotez basically came out saying 1/21/25 viruses will be released.
Yeah.
Biden often said if people make it through 2025, it's a threat. Yeah, he said, Hotez, what did he say? That Trump there'll be like a wave of pandemics or something like that?
Something like that.
Really?
Yeah. Which is, I mean, it's terribly incriminating. I suppose I didn't actually listen to the bit that he said, so it may have been misrepresented. But I mean, look, I don't know why you would even want to say that kind of stuff, because I mean, I don't know if you're in an actionable position, but you're definitely in a position where the incoming administration would look at you and be like, all right, well, what do you know? And what happened? And you'd be under investigation, and they're going to haul you before Congress to talk, to explain why you said that. If something does manifest and prove you to be right.
I saw him at the top of Twitter, that was a video of him doing it. Was he like giving a warning, like, hey, watch out, there's some shady organizations are going to try and mess you up by releasing viruses? Or was he like...
Do not know. Do not know. But I mean, like I said, do you really want to be the guy that says, oh, there's going to be a bunch of pandemics coming out right when Donald Trump is inaugurated, and then actually have a bunch of pandemics come? I mean, it seems pretty incriminating to me, so.
All right. Ham Sandwich says Flip used to make those wave tech boards. Love them. Can you make those? Great on a curb, even with minimal soap. A no step-on snack wave board would be perfect. So are you talking about the new wave boards where that was my first skateboard, actually, where it was like, it was wavy? We can't make those. Those are weird. But the idea was that it would reduce friction with less surface contact, and it would be stronger because it was wavy. Don't know if that was the case, though. It was a weird board. New wave. They always try to do weird things sometimes, huh? Let's go. What is this one up here? What do we got here? Kyle Goodwin says suppressors are NFA items and require a tax stamp for purchase and take time. I'd be willing to bet this was either a swamp sanctioned hit, or the suppressor was homemade to avoid the scrutiny. Of course, or the dude's not from the U.S.
Yeah,
that's it.
Or the weapon wasn't from the U.S. or something.
I bet. Look, if this was a targeting a CEO for the biggest healthcare provider in the country, probably the world. I don't know, outside of governments. If this job was professional, assuming it was professional, then they probably got a non-American. They bring someone in the dead of night by flying him over the border on the south in a single-engine Cessna. He goes to New York, gets on a bike. He doesn't care. He doesn't live here, and he's gone. That's it.
Could be.
Could be, but who knows? Who knows? All right, where are we at? Grandpappy Frog says, Tim, please invite Alex and Cenk for an 8-year anniversary of their fight on YouTube. Alex Jones and Cenk Uygur fight. Maybe Elon and Cash would join you too. I was there. Luke and I were at the RNC when Alex Jones was streaming and walked up to the Young Turks set at the RNC and started a fight, and Jimmy Dore spat on him.
Yeah.
And Luke and I were standing there going like, Indeed we were. Those are the days, man. That was almost 10 years ago. That's crazy. Eric F. says, Taylor Lorenz quit WAPO to become an influencer. Someone should tell her that OnlyFans is not an influence platform. I mean, I think the joke works better of being like she'd maintain more credibility and respect if she went with OnlyFans instead of writing that she's raw dogging the air. Or that, that we are raw dogging the air.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, you saw the story?
I didn't.
She wrote the people who don't wear masks are raw dogging the air.
In 2024?
Yes, she published this like 2 days ago.
Alliteration there.
Raw dogging. I'm going to raw dog this Spindrift right here.
Oh, delicious. You are just doing it raw.
No life straw.
Wow.
You need a life straw.
You just bareback that Spindrift.
Raw dog. You know what?
Raw dog.
Do you know what a life straw is?
Yeah, I have like 6 of them.
Otherwise, you got to drink all your... You know what? She should be drinking her water through a life straw.
She better.
Yeah, otherwise she's raw dogging her water.
Yeah, call her out on Twitter. Oh, she's on Blue Sky now. I don't think she's on Twitter anymore.
No.
Do you know why she's saying these things? It's because her followers click the like button when she does.
That's so sad.
It's because they subscribe to her Substack and they give her money.
I want to fix her. I just don't want to live like that.
I think she knows she's nuts, but she's got crazy followers that pay her bills. It's like, why is Joe Scarborough saying stupid things on MSNBC? Because the people who are watching demand it.
So she's like the news version of getting rear-ended while you're live streaming and having to recreate that over and over.
Exactly.
I think
exactly
Joe Scarborough
right.
says crazy things because Mika got to him.
I think it's because they have an audience that they have. So when Donald Trump got elected, CNN and MSNBC were basically like, what's spiking our ratings? Anti-Trump. What they didn't realize is that their subscriber base wasn't going up. It was, so this is the thing about YouTube or any social media platform. People will be like, hey, I gained 5 followers today on X. When in reality, you lost 50 and gained 55. There's a constant change of who's watching your show. So MSNBC and CNN go full anti-Trump. Their normal viewers leave. Anti-Trump viewers join. And then once Trump is no longer the narrative, they've got nothing. Now they're just pandering to weirdos.
Mm-hmm.
All right, everybody. We'll grab one more quick super chat. Okay, all of the super chats are basically saying Bitcoin 100K, Bitcoin 100K. So, all right. My friends, smash that like button, share the show with everyone you know, become a member over at timcast.com. Click join us to become a member because that members only show is coming up right now where you as members get to call in. It's a lot of fun, not so family friendly, and we'll talk about some of these others. We got one more story for you coming up. Unknown disease killing a bunch of people in Africa at a time when you got this guy claiming that Trump's going to have new pandemics. Could there be a plan? I don't know, but we'll talk about it on the Uncensored show for obvious reasons. So smash that like button, share the show with everyone you know, become a member at timcast.com. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Decoy, do you want to shout anything out?
Yeah, follow me over at Decoy Voice on YouTube. I do a small channel that does concise slide order commentary on the tragic status of today's reality, and I really appreciate being on here today.
It was great. And hey, you do something creative. You'll reward yourself and you'll be thankful for it later in life when you look back at this time. See you later. My name's behind me. It's Ian Crossland. I think the eye's cut off, though. But there it is. Subscribe to me on YouTube and everywhere else. See you later.
I am Phil That Remains on X, where you can subscribe to my page. I am Phil That Remains Official on Instagram. The band is All That Remains. You can follow us on, the whole of the internet. You can check out our new videos for Let You Go, Forever Cold, No Tomorrow, Divine. It's all available on YouTube, Amazon Music, Apple Music, Spotify, Pandora, and Deezer. And don't forget, the left lane is for crime.
We will see you all over at timcast.com. Thanks for hanging out.